Right. Right. First build of Edge of Fate. I know it's been a while since I've done a previous build. I think it was back in June, to be fair. And I think that was also based around a solar hammer build. But this time we're just going to be focusing on the new Melis Panoplia. If I say pronounce it. Just doing a build around the hammer itself, basically. Because I feel like if you don't read here and also not knowing what a perfect recall is can sometimes be a bit of a problem, and you may not get the full benefits of the actual thing. So essentially, collecting a fire sprite or rapid solar final blows make you a Forge Master. So this essentially means that once you become a Forge Master, you throw your hammer. As soon as it hits something, whether that be an enemy or the floor or a wall or anything, as soon as it makes impact, you can then recall it back with the melee button. Now, what's really important is when it says here, recall your hammer at full intensity to perform a perfect recall, causing an explosion of forged slag. Perfect recalls in collecting fire sprites extend your time as a Forge Master. So I didn't really know what a perfect recall was until I sort of played around with the actual hammer itself. So essentially, when you throw the hammer and it hits an enemy, regardless if it kills it or not, the hammer will sort of spin around a little bit like in the air, and then it will sort of ignite a little bit, and you'll be able to hear it make like a ding sound. So you'll hit the enemy, and then it will sort of float around and go ding. At that point, you want to recall it, because what will happen is it will then explode on the spot essentially. So it will still like come back to you, but when you call it back at that perfect time, it will explode. I will show you what I mean in a second, just for demonstrate. It'd be easier to demonstrate it than explain it. But again, this is just a very basic build. We've got the melee stat nearly at 150. Again, the higher the stat, the lower the cooldown, and increases all of melee energy from all sources. Also increases the damage as well. As you can see in PvE, it's increased by 13%. I've also tried to get the super up a little bit, and also the health. I feel like health, super, and melee are probably the most important ones. You've also got weapons as well, but I think our weapons do enough damage in standard stuff. So what we're essentially going to do is we're going to load up a pinnacle, one with quite a few enemies, just so I can explain, as I go. But then we've also got the stats here, so that shouldn't be that. You're going to have to forgive me. I've been mucking around with another build as well. Let's just pop that on in a minute. In terms of the mods, nothing majorly matters here. Just anything melee related you want on, really. Maybe some armor charges stuff as well. But yeah, nothing too major. Another thing that is an absolute must, and you can change it if you don't have this. So Elemental Coalescence. Defeating targets has a chance to create an elemental pickup match in your equipped super. So essentially means that you can use any weapon for that super, and it will spawn a fire sprite, which is what we want, right? Because again, the more fire sprites, the more often we can use this. So I've been pairing it up with the obvious third iteration at the moment. What I will say is that another alternative which you can use is the new hand cannon. This does slap. And then also Devil's Ruin. So if you don't have the artifact leveled up to this bit here, Devil's Ruin, final blows create fire sprites. So it may not be the most powerful weapon in the game, but if you want quick fire sprites, this is the weapon to use. And also, getting solar rapid kills also helps. So again, if you don't have Devil's Ruin and you don't have the artifact mod here, just equip some solar weapons. Again, the weapons themselves don't really matter. It's more around the melee itself. So I'm going to stop yapping, and then we'll load into either a pinnacle event or we'll load into the sieve, just depending on what's what. So I'll catch you in a second.
These sectors have been changing hands thick and fast. Nobody's been able to hold them for long.
Very good. That means last.
Right, okay. There was no sieve, and the pinnacle for the day didn't really have a lot of enemies in to showcase what I mean. So essentially, we've just gone into an expert solo ops mission. I forgot this one had the weird gravity thing as well, which is kind of annoying. But the main purpose of this is to, you know, like I say, show the purpose of the hammer. So we've got the fire sprite there. It says on the left hand side Forge Master. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna slide over here. We're gonna hit him, and as you can see, it made like a little ding noise. Let me throw again. There. See, that Forge Master stays at about 7 to 8 seconds, and also it does some more damage, etc., to the surrounding area. So again, we'll get the fire sprite in a minute. Again, you can use any weapons if you have that artifact mod, or you can get just rapid solar kills. Either is fine. But as you can see there, the hammer, you hit something, it then explodes when you do a perfect recall. Also destroys enemies on the way back as well. So if you miss an enemy, I'd recommend lining up, so you can hit them on the way back. But even if it's nowhere near enemies, it's still, I mean, look at that, that's insane. This does a lot of damage, especially if you weaken it with the third iteration. If you weaken a boss with the single shot, oh god, then obviously you're going to be doing more damage because it's weakened. Right, let's move on. But yeah, this is definitely a good build. I've been using it for pretty much everything. I've only just recently swapped to a different build just to switch it up a little bit and just use that hand cannon. I feel like everyone's going to be using the same sort of stuff, so I hadn't seen a build on the Titan Hammer just yet. But again, there's that perfect recall. You see how it see how it lights up? Even if you don't kill an enemy. Oh shit, I can't even hit one now. There we go. I think it's one of the coolest exotics going. And then paired with, let's get a fire sprite. And then paired with a build with over 100 melee, obviously increases the damage, increases the cooldown. Oh mate, I have to say even the tracking on it can sometimes be insane, like the absolute bend on it. And then also what I would like to say, in addition, is the fact that the weapon, not the weapon, the hammer heals on a hit and then heals when it calls back to you. So if you're looking for a bit of health and you've got Forgemaster active, throw the hammer, hit a target, you'll get some health, you'll get cure. Again, so it's got its damage capabilities, and then it's also got... Damn, that hammer came out well quick. It's also got the healing capabilities as well, which is pretty useful. I have to say I'm not a fan of the modifier on this, I won't lie. But yeah, it's always important to call it back when it does that light up effect. But again, you don't have to use third iteration. Again, people are using it, including myself, just because it's incredibly strong at the minute. I feel like even after they do nerf it, it will still be strong. I don't see it becoming weak just just overnight. I feel like even with the changes they'll make, it will still be strong. Yeah, this is one of the coolest exotic series in the entire game. I don't care what anyone says. It may not be like game breaking or next level or whatever, but yeah, this is by far one of the most fun exotics I've ever used. I honestly can't fault it. I think they've done a really, really good job on doing it. Maybe the only criticism I would have for the hammer is maybe obviously you don't want to make it too strong, so I do get why they've made it not difficult to get the Forgemaster active, but I think maybe you can recall the hammer back all the time, but to get the perfect, it sounds silly saying, but the perfect slag explosion, you have to have the Forgemaster active. I just think that would make the exotic a bit more, I don't know, you could use it a bit more without having to worry about whether you're a Forgemaster or not. But let's just see how much damage it does to this geezer. So let's get the single shot off, there we go. Jesus Christ, I know it's not a major difficulty or anything like that, but god damn. I have seen a lot of stuff about the raid recently as well. I was meant to be doing the raid, but I'm honestly quite glad I wasn't. Excuse me. Yeah, that raid looked awful in terms of like the damage and stuff. It did look really difficult. I think they've mentioned that they've messed up the numbers. So that is a bit unfortunate, but Jesus Christ. Let's see what we've got. Just tier 2 stuff.
It takes a toll.
2019, Jesus Christ.
This is a perfect time to step back.
Again, this is what I would say as well. So a lot of people, I try not to make it into anything else other than a build video, but a lot of people were saying that the only way to level up is by doing Encore. Now, Encore at the time was dropping high rewards, etc. I get that. But there's plenty of things in the Solo Ops playlist or the Fire Team or the Pinnacles that can get you there as well. As we've seen there, 2 rewards for a 7-minute activity, and they got me 2019 bits of armor each. It's yeah, pretty insane. But anyway, back to the build. I really like these gauntlets. Excuse me. Maybe to make them even better, or the armor piece itself a bit more versatile, is what they could have done was for hammer throw and shield throw, you can call it back. I feel like that would have made it even excuse me, even better. Excuse me, Christ. Imagine being able to recall your shield like Thor. Like, that's not Thor, like Captain America. Sorry, that would have been really cool. Maybe they'll do it at some point, but I really like the. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it again, but I really like this gauntlet. Like I said, I've been using it since I unlocked it on Legendary Campaign. But yeah, I think the build, again, there's multiple ways that you could do it. Again, third iteration, you could use Devil Ruins, you could use if you don't have the mods. You could use a solar weapon. So you could use, obviously you've got Prometheus Lens, you've got Ariana's Vow, obviously I wouldn't recommend that for fast kills. You've got Lord of Wolves, which would probably be a good one. Polaris Lance, Tarabar, you've got Vex if you've unlocked that. You've got Tiku's Divination. I think that is, you got Hierarchy of Needs, you've got Red Death, you've got Icebreaker, you've got Steel Hunt, etc. You've got Ergo Sum, with if you have a solar one. So there's loads of like solar weapons you could use, or maybe even the legendary one as well. It doesn't have to be an exotic one. You could use legendary also. But yeah, I really like this exotic. I think it's probably the best out of the three that came out. Again, I don't really like hunters or warlocks. I've always been a titan, so it's a bit difficult for me to stray from this path. But yeah, I hope this helps in some way if you do have the armor piece and you're not sure how to use it or etc. But yeah, focus on the melee, get that as high as possible. Health as well, I would say. You can't really go wrong with that. You're not really going to be using your weapons or anything like that. The main purpose is to get the Forge Master and just use it over and over again. And you can. As long as you perform that perfect callback, you can legitimately just keep going non-stop. There's nothing stopping you from doing it forever, essentially. So you could hit a boss over and over and over and over and over again, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, we're going to be coming back to the builds. I'll probably try and do a build a day. Like I say, I'm working on an Arc one at the minute, which is here. I'm just trying to work my way around that. But yeah, until then, I will catch you all soon. We're close to 4K subscribers, so I'd appreciate it if you are new here. Then just drop us a follow. We go live every single day on Twitch, on YouTube, on TikTok as well. So yeah, it'd be cool if you could do that. Get us to 4K. I might do another giveaway if we get there. In addition to that, I would just like to excuse me, comment on the Stop Hating on Destiny video I made as well. So essentially, if you haven't seen it, I made a video after a live stream. So essentially, I watched a YouTuber's first impressions of Edge of Fate, and there was no, in my opinion, there was no constructive feedback or really professional criticism towards the game. It was just being shat on. And now I understand that everyone has their opinion, and of course you're entitled to that. Of course, you can feel however you want to feel about the game. It's just that when there's nothing to back up your opinion or your argument as such, I just find it not very fair that this game gets shit on a lot non-stop, and there's not a lot of people sticking up for it, and I want to stick up for it. I like this game, I always will. I know there's going to be moments in it when it's not ideal, but as soon as I loaded this game up and I saw my power was 10 and that blue numbers are back, it honestly feels like Destiny 1. That's how I feel about this DLC, and I personally loved that. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Yeah, I didn't expect to get as much heat as I did, if I'm honest. But yeah, I just feel like if you're going to be critical of a game, just do it in the right way. You know, there's the points where he's saying that they didn't even try, and it's like that's a bit harsh. There's no need to go that like deep. Essentially, I feel like that was a bit too far. But anyway, on that note, thank you very much for watching if you have done so. And we'll be back tomorrow with another build. If you are watching, we'll also be live, so hopefully I'll see you there. But if not, I will catch you later.